5 years ago, this month, March, is the 5-year COVID-IVERSARY. Take it away.
As a way of commemorating the COVID-IVERSARY, we're going to present to you a series of videos. Some of them will talk about basics about the EIDL program that you need to know as a borrower who owes that debt, and some of them will be responses to comments we get here on YouTube. Wait, director, would you like me to do another take? I could do something different. I'm Trevor, your resident EIDL expert, and on today's COVID-IVERSARY Basics, we're going to discuss prepayment of the COVID loan. And this is for all you small business owners that received a COVID loan during the pandemic. The COVID EIDL, Economic Injury Disaster Loan, that you got during the pandemic does not have a penalty if you want to prepay the loan. If you want to pay a few dollars extra every month or a huge lump sum payment and pay down the principal or pay the loan off in full, you can do any of those things and not pay a penalty for paying back some of the principal on the loan early. This is very different from most commercial loans that small businesses receive. Small businesses get commercial loans that typically have short terms, 5 years, 10 years, not 30. And secondly, the lender has a penalty in place if you want to pay the loan off early. The reason being, the lender does not want that principal paid off sooner because they want to enjoy the benefit of the interest that you're paying on the loan. But the Small Business Administration is your taxpayer dollars funded by you, the taxpayer, and so the government does not charge you a prepayment penalty on the COVID disaster loan. This is an important concept to understand. Secondly, before we go much further in this and discuss about prepayment, you need to remember one thing. Have a conversation with your CPA, with your attorney, with your CFO, if you are an organization that has a chief financial officer, with your partners of the business if you have other shareholders, other members, other partners of the business. If you're a sole proprietor, if you are an independent contractor, if you are a one-person LLC or corporation, have the conversation, because before you pay this low-cost loan off, our strong advice to you is to consider using that prepayment money to pay off other types of debt that is much more expensive to you in the short or long term. Pay that debt off first. Secondly, if you don't have other debt, then our recommended strategy, strongly recommended strategy, is for you to take extra cash and pile it up on the side for a rainy day. Do you remember the days of the pandemic when you were caught unawares by this terrible viral infection that killed over 500,000 Americans? Don't tell me about how the government forced you to shut down. That was for your protection and ours and everyone else's, because we are a community of people here in the United States working together, all of us, to live better lives. And that's what the pandemic shutdowns did. So stop with the complaining about, oh, the government forced me to this, and don't even start with the conspiracy theories about, what was it called? Plandemic? Oh my God, mind-breaking, mind-blowing nonsense conspiracy theories. But before you prepay the loan, remember what it was like. The reason why you had to take the loan in the first place, because you didn't have either a line of credit at a lender that you could access to pay your operating expenses while the pandemic was impacting your business negatively, or you didn't have a cash reserve. So now, if you are talking about prepaying this loan, stop what you're doing. Take a step back, do a deep reflection. Discuss it with your CPA, with your attorney, with your business mentor, with your business partners, whoever it is you need to rely on for trusted input, and then make your final decision before you prepay the loan. If you have high-cost debt, pay that off. If you don't have cash reserves, build that up. Typically, you should have a minimum of 6 months of operating expenses in your bank account for a rainy day. But ideally, you want to have 18 months of operating expenses. I know, that sounds nuts. But you know what? On our other channel, Simple Sense for Small Business, where we talk about boring, mundane, simple things that make common sense about running a business, that's what we talk about all the time. So you know what you can do right now also to support our business is jump over there and subscribe to that channel, because we're trying to build that channel up as well. Right now, we do videos over there and we are not monetized, so YouTube doesn't pay us any money, okay? So you want to help small business owner? Click on the link and go to the Simple Sense channel right now and subscribe. I'll wait. Welcome back. Okay, before you prepay the loan, we've told you what to do. Now, let's talk about prepayment. If you want to prepay a little bit extra every month towards principal, you can do that. But I'm going to share something that is brutally honest with you based upon my experience as a mortgage loan officer who specialized in low down payment, first-time buyer loans for my 30-year career as a mortgage banker. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't pay extra principal every month because you don't know how to do it. You see, that's the problem. You don't. I've seen how people pursue the same failing strategy with their credit cards. If a minimum payment on a credit card is $35, they pay $40. That's a failed strategy. You see, you cannot do the math to properly arrive at a sufficient amount of principal of a strategy that truly pays down the principal quicker. I put that strategy into our EIDL resource hub. I created a strategy for my mortgage clients back in the day, folks who bought houses with low down payments, and they wanted to pay principal into the principal balance so their mortgage insurance would cancel. So I developed a mathematical strategy to help people do that. I created a strategy that worked. In fact, my strategy demonstrated to my clients, and it's the same thing I put into our EIDL resource hub, how you can take a 30-year loan and pay it off in 15 years through prepayment of principal of a very strategic, scheduled amount every month. So if you want access to that, click on the link and purchase our EIDL resource hub. And as I said at the outset of this video, we're a small business just like you. We're here to give away important information you need to know. But when it comes to some of the mechanics of that, we've built that into our resource hub, and we expect you to pay for that. And I don't think that's an unreasonable request because you sell stuff too. Prepaying principal in small amounts every month is typically a failing strategy because you cannot do the math that will get you to a point where you've taken the loan and really paid down a substantial amount of principal. If you do want to pursue a strategy of paying a little extra principal every month, the way that you do that is through your MySBA profile. When you set up a one-time payment, which is our recommended strategy, don't use autopay, you can add additional principal to the required monthly payment directly through the MySBA portal. Generally speaking, if you're going to pay a little bit of extra principal every month, you don't need to communicate with the SBA. Just go ahead and do it through the MySBA portal. Number two, if you come into a pile of cash, you've saved it up on the side, or you've really had a good holiday season, you sold a lot of widgets, a lot of gadgets, a lot of online courses, whatever it is you sell, and you got a pile of cash and you want to apply it towards the loan. Again, I take you back to my recommendation that before you prepay the loan, you have a conversation with yourself, with your advisors and so forth, especially with your CPA, because the interest is 3.75%, and that is in our understanding, and this is not tax advice because I'm not an accountant. Please consult with your CPA. The interest on the SBA COVID loan is most likely tax deductible against your business income. And your accountant might say to you, you've got other things you could do with that money because this interest is helping me lower your tax liability every year. Yeah, so there's that element of it, okay? All right, so you've got a pile of cash and you want to pump in a huge amount of money into the loan to pay down that principal balance. Couple of things. The mechanics for it is, yes, you can do it through MySBA portal, but we recommend first that you send an email to the COVID Servicing Center and say prepayment in the subject line with your SBA loan number and discuss it with the SBA directly. And you want to do it by email. You can do it by phone if you want, but we recommend email because you want to have a written record because SBA makes things more complicated at every turn. So you want a written record. And one of the reasons I want you to do it in this way instead of just pumping a bunch of money into the prepayment on the MySBA portal is because you want to just advise the SBA in advance that you're doing this so there's a record of it in your file, separate and apart from what you're going to do on the MySBA portal. Because when they come back to you, they will probably just tell you, well, you can do that on the MySBA portal. And just like if you're paying a little bit of principal extra every month, you can do the same thing with a larger lump sum payment on the MySBA portal. In fact, I just had a client do it the other day, and it says, caution, this payment exceeds the required payment. SBA actually will stop you from prepaying the loan, or do they really? No, they don't, because I told my client on the phone, no, that's not a restriction. It's just a warning. As crazy as it's going to sound, the SBA is actually protecting you from overpaying on a payment. Never heard of a lender doing that in my life. But anyway, what you do is when you see that warning box, just click on through to the other side and get to the point where you are paying that more. So in other words, if your regular payment is $2,000 and you want to pay $2,250, so the $250 you want to apply towards principal, go right past that warning into the next field, and it will allow you to enter $2,250 as opposed to the regular payment of $2,000. Likewise, if you're adding $20,000 to that payment, you do the same thing. You'll go past that warning tab to where you'll go $22,000 and authorize a payment. But going back to my communication recommendation with SBA, again, you want to notify them up front that you're planning on making a prepayment of a large sum, because if you are paying 10% or more towards the principal balance, the SBA will allow you to reamortize the loan. Reamortization means that they will recalculate your monthly payments, the required payment, based upon the new lower loan amount. This is very important because we see folks struggling all the time with payments. So if you're in better financial health than other businesses that are struggling and you've come into a lump sum, you want to make sure that you ask the SBA to reamortize the loan. Step-by-step instructions on how to do all of this is in our EIDL Resource Hub, which you can purchase by clicking on the link in the description, including a copy of how the SBA is going to ask you for information and a form that they have, because we're working on a client right now. That's why I said to you earlier that we know the other channels offer expert advice on the COVID program, but we provide a different aspect of the COVID loan experience that they don't necessarily have, because we do roll your sleeves up real-time work. And right now we're working with a client who had previously prepaid a large principal amount, and so now we're asking the SBA to reamortize it. So you will see the form that the SBA is going to send you. And the reason you want to see the form now is so that you can kind of get familiarized with it before you get it from the SBA. Because number one, SBA probably only gives you a limited amount of time to respond. And number two, you don't want to fill out that form incorrectly, because that will lead to a whole different kind of disaster, as we have seen time and time again with small business owners who are not familiar with forms. Go ahead and fill out forms willy-nilly and then get into difficult situations with the SBA, because SBA makes everything much more complicated than it needs to be too often. And now that's going to get worse because they're laying off 43% of their workforce. I want to make a quick shout out to our Simple Sense business channel, because glitch number 317, linked right here, is going to show you why we tell you to have a conversation with your CPA before you prepay a loan. Please, as a reminder, Linda Ray and I cannot do this work for you for free. We're not a charity organization. We have bills to pay just like you do. And we're already building other businesses because this just doesn't pay the bills. So if you want this to continue, please, small business owner to small business owners, you've got to step up and you've got to participate some way, somehow. You've got to do it right now. Coming up in the COVID-IVERSARY series, I'm going to do another video about amortization of the loan, because we see so many people confused about deferred interest, accrued interest, deferred payments. How come I'm not paying down the principal? Yeah, so that's coming up, along with my response to comments on the YouTube channel, all as part of our COVID-IVERSARY commemoration series of videos to help you better understand your responsibilities, the restrictions and the requirements of the COVID loan program, and information that we have from our expertise to share with you here on this channel, which we hope you'll find value. Make sure you like and subscribe, and do it now. No, now, like click now. You know what I've noticed on other YouTube channels? Very often the YouTube creator will tell you about their affiliate links for you buying those products, or they've got a corporate sponsor, an outside business entity. Sometimes I see videos where they've got both. We have a sponsor also. We do. It's us. We are our own sponsor here on the EIDL Experts channel. If you don't mind, I'd like to share a very quick word with you all from our sponsors, us. The only affiliate links we've got is to the CRM that we use for our marketing, which is HubSpot, or TubeBuddy, which Linda uses for getting better exposure here on YouTube. And if you click on the link in the description, you can purchase those products for your business and your marketing, and we would be paid an affiliate fee, albeit a very small one. We provide this information to you, this vital information that so many of you thank us for in the comments, free of charge. And I say free because YouTube does not pay us very much. Look, this is what we got paid by YouTube here in March of 2025. Do you run your business on that tiny amount of money? That's it. And too many of you don't purchase our EIDL Resource Hub, which is our comprehensive step-by-step instructions to help you manage the COVID loan program that you need to know about, and you need that assistance. Too many of you didn't want to pay what we felt was our reasonable fee for consulting services. And therefore, in these next few COVID-IVERSARY videos, we will be reminding you that we are near shutting this down. If you find this information helpful and vital, and again, you often tell us how you find this information helpful, then you need to step up and be part of the small business community and support a small business, which is us. Because we cannot make this viable any longer for a couple of $100 a month. That is nuts. Unless more folks help us to grow the channel and make some purchases, then we will cease doing these videos and you will be on your own. Now, mind you, you're not really on your own because we know of the two other channels that you've heard me mention them. There's Jason, his channel is excellent. There's Skip with Ryder, their channel is excellent. We don't know them personally or professionally, but those, in my opinion, are the only other resources you've got here on YouTube to help guide you with your COVID loan program. But we offer a different perspective. We are kind of the plumber who shows up at the house and fixes the pipe. And the information we share comes out of real-time, real-world experiences with the program. So if you don't want to lose this element of your information about the COVID program, you need to step up. And here's how you can do that. First, like and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel and do it right now because we want to get up to 50,000 subscribers. For April of 2025, we have opened up our 1-hour phone consulting practice. You can click on the link in the description and book a call. Or if you want to know about disaster loans, click on the link and book an appointment right now for the month of April. You know what else you can do? You can send us a thank you. Send us a few dollars so we can buy a pizza. How hard is that to do? You folks are not consumers. You're small business owners just like us. Do you run your business by giving away free stuff? Do you go to your store online or on Main Street and open it up every day and do everything for free? Why would you expect us to sit here and do this for the paltry amount of money that YouTube pays us? This is a serious, practical slap in the face of ourselves, cold hard reality moment of a business that we have built since the pandemic here on YouTube, giving away huge volumes, over 700 free videos for you to use. And all we're asking you to do is some simple things because this is not a viable business if you don't.